I can't believe you guys talked me into this. We could get into so much trouble.
If I were you, I'd just worry about someone seeing me in those pajamas. Did they come like that, or did you have to cut out the feet?
Hey, my grandmother gave me these. Don't tell me you don't have some embarrassing pajamas at home.
I don't wear pajamas. I sleep in the nude.
Hey, Val.
Hey, Al.
Welcome to D-Commentaries.
Thanks, friend. Welcome to you, and welcome to our listeners. Today we're going to talk about Under Wraps.
Val, I thought we were going to keep it under wraps.
Oh, no. Oh, no, I spilled the beans.
You literally ruined it. You literally spoiled it for everyone who didn't read the title of the episode.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry. Should we just stop now?
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Okay. Bye.
End of podcast.
You should have been on the writing team for Under Wraps. I think
you know, some of these jokes I couldn't even come up with.
Oh, they were comedy gold for 12-year-olds who talked like 50-year-olds.
You know, I think when you're a kid, you think that these kids are so much older than you. And then when you read the synopsis as a 27-year-old woman, you realize, wow, these are children who are 12 years old.
They are indeed. Speaking of synopsis, let's go ahead and read the synopsis for Under Wraps, the very first DCOM. 3 12-year-old children, Amy, Marshall, and Gilbert, encounter a mummy, which has been undiscovered in 3,000 years. While investigating, they accidentally revive him, but he must be returned to his resting place by midnight on Halloween, or he will never find his long-lost love.
Wow.
I know.
Now, Val, can you read the Amazon synopsis?
Yes, I can, Al.
Okay, great.
The Amazon synopsis is 12-year-old. I can't. Okay. Oh my God.
Here, Val, let me do it. Let me get it pulled up. Okay, here we go. Ready? This is the Amazon synopsis. 12-year-old friends help a mummy on Halloween. Amazon said, not today.
So comprehensive.
Yes. Thank you, Amazon.
Oh my God.
For that beautiful synopsis there. Now, in this first part of our podcast here, we're going to kind of talk about the movie, but we're not going to have any spoilers, just in case our friends want to listen to part of the podcast first and then go watch the movie and then come back for the fun parts. Well, I lied. All of it's going to be fun. But we just want to make sure that if you're interested in, listening to a little bit of the podcast first, seeing is this a movie that I would actually like and enjoy, then we're not going to spoil, the ending. Does he find true love? Val and I know, but you may not at this exact moment yet, if you haven't.
Although it is. So, I said it. I said the word, which we
You
now.
said the word.
I can't. In case you missed our trailer, we can't say the D word, so we're bleeping ourselves. So if you listen to our promo episode without listening to our trailer and we're like, what the heck is going on? That's what was going on. We were not saying some weird, obscure swear word. We were saying the big D.
Yes. And that's just because we don't want to get sued.
Yeah. It's mostly a joke. I don't think they would actually sue us, but you never know.
I think it'd be kind of cool to be sued by Disney, though. Because then you could say, like, wow, I was sued by Disney.
It'd be cool until, like, you didn't have a house or any savings.
I don't have a house now, so it doesn't...
I do. I have a house.
Oh, shoot, you do.
Wait, don't tell Disney.
Okay, great.
Anyway.
All right, Val, how are we starting off this first part?
Well, let's just talk about first impressions.
Yeah, I thought that overall it was a great film. I thought that for being the very first DCOM ever, I'd probably give it, like, an 8 out of 10, honestly. That's a little bit early to rate all of this, but I'm going to start off strong. First impressions, 8 out of 10.
Wow.
I thought it was a good precedent to start for DCOMs. Well cast, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And overall, a great time.
Some pseudo-familiar faces. Speaking of which, true to form, I was on IMDb within 10 seconds. And fun
As
fact.
you do.
Yeah, fun fact. Harold, the mummy, is played by the same person who is the stepdad. I think his name is Ted. Who is also, that actor is the voice of Patrick, the starfish.
Ladle.
So if some of his grunts throughout the film reminded you of Patrick, that is why. And if they didn't before, they definitely will now.
Yeah, once you figure it out, in my list of notes here, about halfway past the midpoint of the movie, I wrote in all caps, I literally cannot not hear Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
Because he just walks around and is like, ah, ah.
I wonder if
It's
this
great.
is how he got cast as Patrick Star.
That's a really valid point, because this was shot in 98.
No, it was 90. It was probably filmed in
Probably 96.
7. Because it came out in October. I'm going to guess it didn't take them very long to film these movies. Just a hunch.
Yeah, that's
so
a good
I'm going
point.
to say 97. It was filmed in 97.
Yeah, probably. And then SpongeBob started in 99. I think May.
Wow. So this was probably, he probably didn't send in a reel. He probably just sent in this film.
Under wraps.
Yeah.
Okay, now Val, what were your first impressions of the movie?
I also really enjoyed this movie. I really, it brought back a lot of nostalgic, good feelings, because I remember watching it when it came out on Disney, and I remember enjoying it then. And one thing that I think continues, if I remember correctly, but I definitely appreciated about this movie, setting the tone, was like the ridiculous reference level of all the children, like the precociousness of these middle schoolers, like making references to like the concept of celibacy, and like talking about like getting sent up to Sing Sing prison and stuff like that. Like, obviously the average 12-year-old does not have that reference level, and it tickled me. And I think that as a somewhat precocious tween, I enjoyed that even then too. So I was having fun. And of course, Amy, oh man, Amy.
I knew this was coming.
Giving me life today. I love that girl. I know she's probably, I don't know, too much for most people, or like something. I'm sure I'm going to get, like, if people ever listen to this, I'm going to get some kind of hate mail. But I
hope we get hate mail. Someone
know,
send me
right?
hate mail.
May we get famous enough that we get hate mail. She, to me, like, represented a level of like women's empowerment and like knowing
She's
oneself.
strong.
She's very strong. She literally illustrates, they like take a moment in this movie to give her an opportunity to say no, and like firmly say no to someone, like not in a overtly like sexual context, but like someone asks her out. He doesn't at first like listen to what she's saying to him, and then she's literally like, get out of here. I said no.
Yeah.
And she stands up for herself, and she's just so self-possessed, and I like love that. she's like probably a little like overly adult for a 12-year-old girl, but at the same time, like, I appreciated this sort of concept of a young girl who's extremely sure of herself, does not define herself by the boys that she's spending time with, and can give as good as she gets.
Right. And I think that's the idea of the three of them as friends. They're all on the same level. I mean, she makes fun of both of them quite a bit, but they're all, they don't treat her as if, she's a girl and she's weird and she can't do,
right.
Cough, cough, something that may come up soon, motocross, cough, cough, she's a girl, can't do it. But in this movie, they definitely are like, we're a team, we're working together. That's the three of us. Now, I did find it very interesting that there may have been some sexual tension.
Oh, there definitely was.
I mean, it's there. It's there. It's apparent. It made me uncomfortable at the end.
Well, I think that it was like kind of cute. Like, it reminded me of like when I dated boys and I like didn't know what to do. And, I was like pretending based on like what I'd seen in movies and stuff. Like, I don't know. That felt pretty real to me. And I thought it was really sweet that like the reason that they both kind of like fell for each other was like Marshall needed Amy like to to be there for him because he was having a hard time. And Amy saw that vulnerability and that he was sort of able to be a little bit open with her. And
yeah,
like, that was so sweet. And there were a few moments like that in this movie where like these relative children were like very adult in like an emotional way.
Very open and honest with their feelings. Something that I haven't been ever able to do. And these kids were he just straight up, this mummy doesn't talk, and he just straight up is talking about his parents' divorce.
Yeah, exactly. Like he just needed someone to listen to him. And I don't know. I thought it was really cool. And obviously I thought this entire movie was like a metaphor for like learning how to like open up again, like, and be vulnerable when you've, you know, gone through a divorce or like some other kind of emotionally traumatizing event in your family. And I thought it was like very intentional that the person who played the mummy was also the guy who was the stepdad. I thought that was like overt, but like not in like an annoying way, just like very much like, oh yeah, this is what they're trying to communicate in this
Yeah, absolutely.
movie. So yeah, it was very fun, but they still had like all this silly stuff. Like they had the like ridiculous villains, and they had like, you know, all the sort of cliche like DCOM moments.
Yeah,
definitely hitting a lot of bingo squares, which we'll talk about later.
Val, did you have any other favorite lines from the film besides the one we heard at the very beginning?
I mean, there were a lot. Like there was like, what's celibacy? No chicks. Oh, I could never do that. You'll get used to it. That was great.
That was a good one.
Also, the single most unbelievable thing in this entire film, and this is a film about a reanimated mummy, is that
I'm really hoping we have the same one. Is
that for 2 cheeseburgers, fries, and a jumbo soda, it cost $3.74. What? I'm sorry. Like, I'm not even joking. It pulled me out of the movie. I was like,
yeah,
this is so, even for 1997, this is ridiculous. Like,
right. Once again, I wrote in all caps, how is all that food $3.74? And then he just like takes the drink and walks away.
Right.
Like, maybe you gotta pay for that.
I know.
I did have a favorite line.
Okay, let's hear it.
It is when I believe the little kid's name is Leonard.
Yeah.
So, wait, I lost it. Hold on.
Is it the blanket?
Yeah. Okay. The line is, she goes, "Why do you carry that blanket around?" And Leonard goes, "This isn't a blanket. It's a rag. I carry it around in case I have to wipe up something."
I know. Also, the names in this movie are chef's kiss.
Rough.
No, I love them. Gilbert,
like
Marshall, Leonard.
We're literally watching Big Bang Theory in 1998.
Oh, they're so good. Yeah, even like Harold, Ted. I mean, there's just so many good names in this. Also, the mom is never named. I was like really bummed. There was like, definitely this movie did not pass the Bechdel test, nor did the Bechdel test exist back then. But like, there's a lot of like, you know, the woman.
Now that you say it, I don't think 2 women ever spoke to each other.
I don't think so either. Even Amy is only ever talking to other boys. And yeah, like the woman at the dance, like, is kind of there just for a joke, you know, like sort of.
And they're talking about men, so that doesn't count.
Right.
Val, is it time for spoiler corner?
Yeah, let's spoiler alert. Moving forward, we are holding nothing back whatsoever.
So let's talk about what actually happens in the movie then. So we know that they bring this mummy back to life.
Right.
And then he escapes kind of, so they have to go find him. He's like walking around the world. They befriend him.
Right.
We find out that this mummy is very valuable to Mr. Kubat, who we thought was dead.
What a reveal.
There's your spoiler alert. Mr. Kubat isn't dead. So Mr. Kubat is trying to essentially use the mummy for money. It is worth a lot of money.
Right.
And in order to be a mummy again, Harold needs to get back into his fancy word that they kept saying for a coffin, Val? Can you remember?
Sarcophagus.
Sarcophagus. Great. It's stuck in my sarcophagus. So then we find out that they're coming to take the mummy back. If he doesn't get in by midnight on Halloween, he will never be a mummy again. He will not be reunited with his love interest, Lady Mummy. So long story short, Mr. Kubat gets flung to the other side of the ice cream factory.
Maybe murdered?
Potentially murdered. R.I.P. Mr. Kubat. And then Harold gets back in time before midnight. Now, before he closes that coffin with his lady to his right, he hands his very important Titanic necklace.
Magical necklace.
To Marshall.
Yep.
And Marshall gets to keep this necklace.
Yes.
And all I could think of was the Britney Spears, but I thought the old lady dropped it in the ocean at the end. At that part.
Well, you know what I thought of? Because I watch theory videos all the time. So I know.
Oh, do you think like Thanos?
No, I know a thing. And I'm just going to say
Tell us this thing.
It's not a secret at all. They're making a new Under Wraps movie for Disney.
I totally forgot until you just mentioned it right now.
Yeah, which is why I think why this movie is not currently on Disney Plus, because either they're making a remake, which means that they may never put this back on Disney Plus because they don't want them to compete with each other. Although I don't think a movie from 1997 is going to compete with a new movie, but whatever. But it's possible that they're like holding off bringing it back because if the new movie is sort of like a carry on of the story, and like, I don't know, Marshall's kid finds this necklace and like reanimates Harold by accident or something like that, like that could carry into this new movie. Now, I could be very, very, very off base, but that was the first thing that I thought of when he handed him that necklace. Wow. Also, there were like moments that felt like other movies, which I guess is like not that surprising, but like, tell me that have you seen Game of Thrones?
No.
Okay. Well, this is a pseudo spoiler, but there is a moment. All I'm going to say is there was a Hodor moment in this movie. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. I feel like I don't know what you're talking about, but I think that'll be a good reference for those who do know what you're talking about.
Yes.
But it also won't ruin anything for those who are watching.
Correct. I mean, it was like, I was like, wow. Like, did they watch Under Wraps before making that episode? Yeah. Also, like, some insightful things said, like, that thing about step parents are the only adults that care about impressing kids. I thought that was like a very insightful statement by Amy, who's just full of gems in this movie. What a self-possessed young woman.
I think we have your number one, which is going to be hard to beat, character in any DCOM is right now Amy.
Absolutely is Amy. Also, another thing that is in at least also Hocus Pocus is, and actually I'm pretty sure is also in the movie Jack, if you've ever seen that with Robin Williams, is a Halloween dance where adults go dressed in full-blown costumes and just dance in like the town square.
Yes.
Like,
and I want to live in that town.
Right. Like, where is this dance where adults go and hang out and are like have really good costumes and just
like,
dance
come on, Chicago.
Yeah. And then while we're talking about the dance, I do just want to point out really quickly that and acknowledge that I saw the very offensive portrayal of a Native American costume. I really wish, frankly, they could have cut it out of the movie, although maybe there's something to be said for like keeping it in there and sort of acknowledging rather than trying to hide from it. But like, it didn't need to be in the movie at all. And it rubbed me the wrong way, to say the least. And I just wanted to like bring it up really fast.
No, I think it's something that's important, though. I think it's something, unfortunately, that we might notice through a lot of these where, in the late 90s, 2000s, even today, things happen and they're disgusting and they're gross and they're inappropriate. And I think, we call them out.
Right. I kind of felt like I was having whiplash a little bit because up until that point, there were like a few things that were said, like that step parent thing and a couple other things that had happened like just prior to that, where I was like, man, this is like a really like surprisingly
all around good movie.
Yeah. Like aware movie, like a somewhat ahead of its time movie. And then that happened. I was like, oh,
just kidding.
Never mind. Yeah. Oh, also, another thing maybe we should add weirdly to another like somewhat maybe problematic thing is the guns being pointed at innocent children.
If you noticed how he was holding it as if it had been like an eggplant he picked up at the grocery store. This man had never held a gun before.
I'm not saying they like trained him on how to hold a gun, but he was aiming a gun at a 12-year-old in this movie. Yeah. And
so that's where we get my favorite part of sexual tension.
Okay.
Because Amy goes up to Marshall and goes, I thought, this is not, don't quote me on this, haters. She's like, I thought you were going to be shot. It was just like, and then you can just tell that they're like, I'm just so glad you're alive.
Yeah, I would qualify that as an almost kiss for our
bingo. I marked it.
Yes, for sure. That qualifies as far as
so then Val, should we get into our bingo cards?
Yeah, let's get into our bingo cards.
Val, I did have almost kissing as a half square. So I'm glad you mentioned it as a full square.
I mean, I would qualify it because like that's about as close as they're going to get in most of these movies. Like they don't, at least in the like older ones, as far as I remember, there's not a lot of like overt physical contact.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so, I'm going to switch it. I'm going to switch it over to.
All right, let's go through bingo.
So we start in top left?
Yeah. So is what is that song? The love song. Is that a one-hit wonder?
Yeah. I Googled if All By Myself is a one-hit wonder. It is not, because it is sung by the same man who sings Hungry Eyes. And so technically it is not a one-hit wonder. I did mark it halfway because I don't remember who this man is. And if you had to do this on trivia and you would say, All By Myself, who sang that song, I think a lot of people wouldn't be able to get it. So I think in our minds it qualifies as a one-hit wonder. So I did a little half mark on that one.
Fair enough. All right. There was no breaking of the fourth wall.
There was not.
It was definitely holiday themed. Clunky metaphor, absolutely. I would argue that the entire thing is a metaphor for him getting, like, I think I mentioned it earlier, but it's like a metaphor for him like learning how to connect with someone and like trust someone and
especially an adult,
right? Specifically an adult.
Okay, great. Parents who just don't get it.
I would say this is at least a half.
I'd say it's a half as well, because she was kind of just clueless.
Right. Cool non-parent relative. Not a relative, but I would say that Bruce, is it Bruce's name?
Bruce, maybe we should change it to cool non-adult.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, we'll change it. Or
to cool non-adult. Oh my God, cool non-parent adult.
Yeah. But I would say
because Amy's the cool non-adult.
Yeah, I would say Bruce for me qualifies. If we're doing it that way, he is like a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Because he's like, he even says, he's like, I need to hang out with people my own age.
People my own age? So funny. All right. Someone too famous for a TV movie, I feel like didn't really hit here, except for the dad from Even Stevens, because I love him. But I did not mark that.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah, he wasn't like too famous for this movie. He was like just the right amount of famous for this movie.
Yes.
Although I would say he had the smallest part that you could possibly imagine in this movie. But this was before Even Stevens, so...
Right. And he looked really young, but he also looked the same.
Oh, that is a man who looks the same from probably 35 to
I would argue birth. He came out looking like that.
Yeah.
All right, competition to resolve a central problem. I don't think there was a competition in this one.
No, there was not.
There was not. Empty square. Montage sequence. I think we got one.
Did we?
That when he, now, if this doesn't qualify as a montage, you correct me, but I think the entire time of Harold walking out on his own, exploring the world, where he's at the park and he's at the dairy freeze and he's doing all of these things where there's no words, it's just him exploring and figuring out the world.
You're absolutely right. Yep. And that is also, I think we're skipping ahead. I don't remember where it is, but fish out of water.
Yes, fish out of water. Very end. Last box.
Oh yeah. So that montage is literally a fish out of water montage. For anyone who isn't clear on what fish out of water means, it literally just means someone who is in a situation or place where they just don't fit in at all. So like think Wonder Woman when she is in, like modern Western culture, or the entire premise of Borat is a fish out of water story.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Okay, cliche villains. Check.
Mr. Kubat.
Mr. Kubat and his goons. He has goons and we don't have goons. Another gem of a line.
All right, closer items that you own. Val, did you have any closer items? Because I have one.
So nothing specific, so I'm not going to check it, but I wore so many, like, of basically the same thing. Like, I wore, the overalls with, like, a giant, like, flannel over it and stuff like that. So, like...
Val, were you Amy as a kid?
No, I wasn't Amy because I was actually, like, a really straight-up tomboy when I was that age. So...
Right, she wore some dresses. She was a little bit more of a girly girl.
And not just a girly girl, but like she was a little bit more like comfortable in her femininity. Like she was like comfortable talking about wearing a bra, comfortable about talking about sleeping in the nude, comfortable about...
I'm still not comfortable talking about wearing a bra.
Exactly. So like I would have looked up to Amy at that age.
Yeah,
like I would have like
cute.
Envied her confidence very much at that age. Did you said you owned something?
Yes, so it wasn't clothes, but it was an item. I do have to say there was a Jack Russell Terrier in the movie, and my family childhood dog was a Jack Russell Terrier, and that counts because it was an item that I owned.
Yes.
Shout out to Eddie, R.I.P.
Oh, actually, I did own something, actually. So what is the name of that ball that has the rubber strings on it? That Harold like shoots out the window that like gets him out of the house in the first place.
Yep, I cannot. I know exactly the scene you're talking about too because it made me jump.
Yeah,
like a squish ball.
Yeah, it was something like is it koosh? Is that a thing?
Oh, koosh ball. Yeah.
Wait, I need to Google koosh ball because I need to know if
Koosh, I think.
Yes, it's a koosh ball. I can't believe I just pulled that out of nowhere.
Wow.
So I did own something. I owned multiple koosh balls.
All right, next box. Rotten Tomatoes, 40 to 60. Val, did you look it up? Because I did
not.
All right. I'll give you you say a number. If you're within 5 on either side, do you get it right?
Okay. I am going to guess 47.
It's 57.
Whoa, I was close.
Yeah, you were close.
Wasn't
you did
close
not
enough.
win.
But we do get to check that box.
We do get to check the box. You know what I forgot to mark? I guess we could talk about this together. Is it a happily ever after?
Yes. I would say absolutely. I agree. Yes.
I think everyone gets their happily ever after.
Yes. And that's why I put that square in the middle, because I think for the most part, these are happy enders. DCOMs are happy enders.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll find one that isn't. Who knows? I haven't seen a lot of the newer ones, so who the heck knows?
Yeah.
Almost Kissing. We already discussed this one.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Someone who became famous. Not really. No.
Not really. I don't think it really qualifies this time.
Okay. Betraying of one's real friends or values. I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because I think everyone really, I was worried at the end when Gilbert wanted to sit in the car because he was scared.
I was going to bring this up too. Keep going.
Almost did, because I was really worried that Marshall was going to say, you're a little weenie, you're scared. Yep. And what did he do? He said, I support you.
Yeah.
I am okay with you making the decision that is good for you. And then what did Gilbert do? He saved the day.
He found his courage, because what he really needed was his friend to believe in him and say that he was enough, even if he was scared. And it was such a beautiful moment. And I was not expecting it at all, especially from Marshall. And I think it sort of signified like the beginning of like signs that Marshall has changed for the better.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. All right, Val, what's our next box?
Your childhood crush. Not really.
Not in
for
this
me.
one.
Okay, obviously bad special effects or stunts. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere. My favorite one was when he launches Marshall over the side and he obviously lands on a very soft pillow of fake dirt.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the most overt. I mean, there were just so many. There's too many to name.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Okay, we're at our favorite square. And no, we do not get to check it because Eric Von Detten is not in this movie. Kirsten Storms is not in this movie. Ryan Merriman is not in this movie. Kimberly J. Brown is not in this movie. And no Lawrence brothers are in this movie.
Now, Val, I just had a thought. When we hit a certain point, those people are really not going to be in these movies.
I know. We might have to change it when we get to that stage to some people we don't even know.
Yeah, like after 2005.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Now, Val, our next square is a musical number.
Yes.
Now, there were no musical numbers in this.
That is correct.
But I did half mark it.
Okay, explain.
Because Gilbert mentioned The Sound of Music.
That's so true.
And I thought it was important to note.
Oh my God. Also, like, I think he said something like, dancing Nazis was great or something like that.
Okay,
and I was
a
like,
little problematic.
I was like, I don't think this sounds the way you think it sounds.
But he's still appreciative of Julie Andrews, and that's all we can ask for in this Disneyverse. Okay, so I'm going to leave that one half checked.
Okay, that is valid. That is valid. I understand.
Great.
Okay, next square. Magic. I mean, come on. I mean, would this movie exist without magic?
Absolutely not.
No, it would not. Okay. Someone says the title of the movie. I don't think so. I didn't hear it.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. I think I just said it at the beginning of the podcast.
Right. I'm actually wondering how many times they're going to say the movie. The title of the movie. Is this going to be our hard square? I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay. Scooby-Doo, which, in case you're wondering what that means, is the kids solve everything on their own. And I think yes. Like, they get a little help from Bruce, I suppose. They needed a car, but they do everything.
They would have biked
themselves.
there. If they didn't, they would have figured out a way.
Yeah. Okay. The heroes create the problem. Okay, this I have a question about because the synopsis that we read at the beginning of the episode implies that the kids woke the mummy up.
Yes.
But
they did.
Did they?
Yes, because I've thought about this in depth over the last long time.
Okay, explain.
They're trying to sneak in on Mr. Kubat, and they're like searching, and then they let Gilbert through the window, and he knocks stuff over when he's falling through the window in the beginning, which then essentially knocks open the mummy thing, and then the moonlight shines on him. So if Gilbert hadn't have fallen through the window, then the light wouldn't have shined on the heart of the ocean, and then he wouldn't have come back alive.
Okay. That is such a like perfect interpretation that I did not pick up on at all. Yeah. Like because I sort of assumed that he was already awake when they fell in the basement. But that makes so much sense. That is, you are totally right. So,
oh my gosh, thank you so much.
And due to your extensive analysis of this moment, we get to check this box.
We get to check it.
Because the heroes created the problem.
Now we're on our last one, which you kind of talked about, then which was lead is fish out of water. So that is also checked.
Yep.
Val, look at your card.
I don't think we did it.
We didn't do it today.
All
right. Well, Under Wraps won our hearts, but it did not win bingo this week.
It did not win bingo. That's okay. Just like any 90s kid, they are a champion regardless, and they still get a trophy.
And I think this is a strong first movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I know we've got some of our favorites coming up, honestly, early on, but I think it's going to be a hard one to beat. Okay, Val, before we head out, I just want to do a short little game with you.
Okay.
And if you didn't do too much IMDb searching, it's called Where Are They Now?
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm going to give you 3 characters from the movie.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to give you 3 occupations.
Okay.
And you have to guess which one is the correct one.
Okay.
Okay. I feel like this needs a fun intro. This is boom, 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 boom. Where are they now? Okay, great. So we're gonna start with Marshall. So his name is Mario Yedidia. Now I may or may not have looked at his LinkedIn.
Oh my God.
So if he goes on his LinkedIn, he's gonna see Allie Ring looked at your profile.
Honestly, we should start reaching out to these people and see if they want to come on the podcast.
We absolutely should. Now, is Mario, does he work for the company Kohl's? Does he work for a labor union? Or does he work in production, just not in acting?
I'm going to say labor union because it's so specific.
Ding, 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 we're now labor union!
Oh my God. Wow,
yes,
good for
him. He works for a
him.
labor union. It's called Unite Here. It's in, I believe, San Francisco or San Diego. I don't remember. It's a San in California. And in my comments on my notes, it just says, yes, I linked it. Now, second contestant that we have from the movie. This is the little boy at the park who says, Mommy, that man is scared looking. Okay.
Okay.
His name is Robert Bailey Jr., and he does some voice acting. I'm going to give you 3 movies in which he maybe was a voice actor in.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
Corpse Bride, Frankenweenie, or Coraline?
My first instinct was Frankenweenie, but would you have the middle answer be the correct one twice in a row is the real question.
That is a really good question, Val.
You know what? I'm going to go with my gut. Frankenweenie.
That's such a good guess, and you are wrong.
Oh, which one was it?
He is Wybie in Coraline, which is the boy friend, not boyfriend, but boy, friend of Coraline.
Huh. What do you know?
He grew up and he's still acting. He's doing great.
That's really cool. Good for him. He was great.
He so
very funny.
So cute in this movie, and then so cute in Coraline. Okay, great. Now we've got our last contestant, and her name is Christina Patterson, and she is the female mummy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, I went way back there. Christina Patterson does still work in Hollywood. I'm going to give you 3 things that she maybe does, and you have to guess which one she does.
Okay.
Is she a contact lens designer? Is she a costumer, but only for shoes? Or does she help out with sound editing?
Interesting. All right, you know what? I'm going all middle. I think shoes. Shoe designer.
Shoe designer, you are incorrect.
Oh.
She is a contact lens designer.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
This woman designs contact lenses for special effects. She's done all of these things. She's done Game of Thrones.
Wow. What
Isn't
a cool
that the
job.
Coolest. She only has 3 acting credits, and then the rest is literally designing contacts.
How did she end up in this movie?
I don't know, but she's making bank.
Wow, that is so random and cool. All of those were cool. I'm not even mad that I only got 1 out of 3.
You know what? You are first in my heart.
Thank you. As I already said, we're all champions here because we're all 90s kids.
We are.
Okay, well, this was wonderful. I hope that everyone listening enjoyed our very first real episode, and I hope you all watch Under Wraps and enjoy it.
Yeah. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. Join us next week. We are going to be watching You Lucky Dog.
Yeah, we are.
All right. Bye, Val.
Bye, Al. This podcast was produced by me.
And me.
And it was edited by me.
The music was composed by Michael McNally.
You can find us online at thetridentnetwork.com/dcommentaries-pod and on Instagram at dcommentaries. Dcommentaries is a part of the Trident Network. To learn more about our videos, live shows, and other podcasts, please visit thetridentnetwork.com.
Disney Channel original movies.
Damn it, Allie.